This card looks like it's not gonna be good for Stella. Let's just put it over there. I'm like, no, I don't want that one. I want to put here. Small box games, including Fantasy Realms, Star Trek version, Beth Sobel's card, and Abstract Academy. Stay tuned.
Hi everyone, it's Tarrant.
And Stella here from Meeple University. Welcome and welcome back to our channel. Today we are talking about 3 different games. Well, 2.5. You'll soon find out why. We have these kind of like filler small box games here that we're going to talk about.
Yep, so we have Star Trek Missions, we have Abstract Academy, and we have the River and Stone playing cards.
So let's start with Star Trek Missions, which is the theme of one of my favorite games, Fantasy Realms.
Okay, Star Trek Missions. Star Trek themed, you got to be keen on that.
I am, because I'm a big fan of Star Trek. I've watched almost all of the series, except the original, because it was a little bit looks a bit dodgy. And I feel like the human interaction is better from the Star Trek Next Generation onwards. My favorite captain is Picard, although Janeway is very close behind him. And I've watched all the movies as well. So let's talk about the game now.
And I've watched Discovery.
Is that it? That's it. Yeah, that's right. Usually modern one. Okay.
Yes.
What's Star Trek Mission, Tarrant?
So, as you mentioned before, this borrows heavily from Fantasy Realms, which was released, I think, about 5 years ago. Had its German release last year and got a Spiel des Jahres nomination out of that. And it's also the game that Red Rising was heavily influenced by. So, pure hand management. It's all about getting the best combination of cards in your hand. So your turn is very simple. It's all about changing the cards in your hand until you have the highest scoring combination. Your options are you can draw the top card from the Galaxy deck and then discard any one card. It can be either type. So I could discard a mission or I can discard a Galaxy face up. Or you could draw 2 mission cards from the top of the deck and then discard any 2 cards face up. Again, these can be the ones that you've just had, or they can be ones that were already in your hand. Or your third option is to pick up 1 card from the table and replace it with 1 card from your hand.
Obviously, you see your own cards. You don't do it blindly.
Yep. And the only restriction on all of this is that you have to end your turn with either 1 or 2 mission cards. You can't go above, can't go down to 0. And that's it. You just keep doing that, trying to get the cards that are worth the most. And the game will end when there are 8 Galaxy cards or 12 mission cards in the discard pile. Then everyone reveals their cards and counts up the points. Which was very much how Fantasy Realms worked as well. And so each of these cards is going to, for the most part, it's going to say you get some points based on what other cards you have. So here, Ambassador Sarek, 5 points for each non-Federation captain. So for whether it's Federation, you check this yellow one. It's got the icon there. Here I've got Federation. Here I've got a Romulan captain. So I've got 1 non-Federation captain. There's 5 points for Sarek. Turbo Lift, 16 if it's with at least 2 other locations. I've got 2 other locations. It's worth 16 points. I'm doing really well for this randomly selected hand, aren't I?
Lucky.
6 points for each other engineer, which is a profession, so that's the green one. No more engineers, all right. I jinxed myself there.
Yeah.
And so on. And the missions combo in similar ways. And that's basically the game. There are cards that will blank other cards, so they'll be worth nothing or they'll have no effects or no icons to combo unless you can combo them with something specific. So here this is blanked unless it's with a holodeck or a computer. And if you do manage to have a holodeck or a computer, then you get 8 points for each science and engineer, and it counts as these things. Here you have it. So it's quick. It plays a lot like, it plays very much like Fantasy Realms used to.
And this is the new one that I don't think it is in Fantasy Realms.
Yeah, so that's the
The
one
missions.
thing that's new, is that in Fantasy Realms you had one big deck of cards. In Star Trek, you've got the missions and the galaxy cards, and it forces you to keep some balance between them. And you can go down to only one mission card, but a lot of these are worth a lot of points as well, so it stops you going too far above. It just keeps a little bit more of the balance in the cards.
So what do you think, Tarrant?
Look, much like I feel with Fantasy Realms and much like I feel with Red Rising, there is a huge amount of information to gather and to pass in your head, and that's the biggest challenge with a game like this. You know, I've got to understand that there's lots of different types of 3 different types of icons, and I've got to go looking for a perfect combination. It's a lot of info to absorb very quickly.
It's true, but it is a fun one, trying to find and dig through the deck, the cards, the discard, try to find your best combination, right? That's a fun bit, I think. And not to forget about the Star Trek. So obviously, for you, fan of Star Trek, you recognize Ledan Wolf, the Klingon. I can't speak Klingon. Also Klingon, there's some obviously missions and things that they've encountered. Also Klingon. Data, look how cute. Data, I like Data. And Commander William Riker, which is the second in command from Picard. Dana Troy. So this is actually, I would say this is like based on Star Trek, the Next Generation. Yeah, I can see like, look, that's Data with looks like holodeck or something. I think it's called. And she's in the Next Generation. Spock is in the. Now I can't remember this. Well, Spock is in the original one, but I think he probably came in. I can't remember.
And he grew a
that
beard
details.
and was in Discovery as well.
And see. And
What
all
shields.
these, yeah. So these are like look at the ship. That's Star Trek Generation. So there you go. I talk about Star Trek in general, but this is in specifically Star Trek: The Next Generation. Have you watched that, Tarrant?
No.
You did say in the earlier that you didn't. So that's okay.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I would say the one other thing that's different between this and the original Fantasy Realms is rather than there being about 9 or 10 different categories of card, they are grouped into these different types. So you've got the main card type, and then you've got the green and the yellow and the blue, which is the what empire and what species and what role.
I guess that might be a bit
instead
easier.
of just being all those
Texts.
all those different
Color,
types, they're now grouped into subtypes.
And look at this language barrier. 8 for each Betazoid on Vulcan and each computer and tricorder. It's like kind of like a thematic one as well. Mysterious flag. The ones that you probably see in the movie. Or maybe it isn't. I can't really remember. It's been a while since I watched Star Trek Next Generation, but yeah, that's the missions. Which is the missions. Look, I don't like you. Anyways.
There we have it. All right, next up we have Abstract Academy, which is
An abstract game.
an abstract cards-only game.
Yes.
All about building abstract canvases, essentially. It plays very simply. Each player has 3 cards in hand, and they are combinations of these 3 colours in 4 quadrants. You can, on your turn, you play one of the cards onto the table, orthogonally adjacent to at least one other that's already there, and then you add a new card to your hand. Ultimately, you'll end up with a 4x4 grid, but like in Between Two Cities or a game like that, how you get to that 4x4 grid depends on the order things are placed. So yeah, you can keep building up. This could end up being on this side if everyone builds here, or it could end up on this side if everyone builds there. Once the board has gone 4 long, then that splits the board into each player's scoring zones. So the player on this side is going to score these 2 rows at the end, and the player on this side will score these 2 rows. And once that's split up, you can only place in your front 3 rows. So I can put inconvenient cards into this player's second row, but not the first row, unless that's my only option. Once the 4x4 grid is full, then it's time to score, and you'll score your half. And the scoring changes from round to round. So you can have inspirations. Each player has their own inspiration cards, which will be looking for a certain pattern of a given colour. So this one is a 2x2 square, which no one has achieved in this particular round. There can be objectives by colour. So most blue areas, for example, you'll be looking for individual blue areas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For example, largest red area, you've got a block of 4 there. Fewest yellow areas, things like that. And then there are professor cards, which are a little more tricky to resolve. This one's like the longest color path of a single color, so that would probably be this path of 6 yellows to this player, and so forth. So whoever completes the objective takes the card. If it's tied, then you whoever has the tiebreaker card takes it and then gives the card to the other player. You play over 3 rounds, and whoever gets the most points out of their objectives wins.
Simple.
Simple.
And this actually is changed from game to game.
Yes.
And this one also. Well, you can see this at the start, right?
Those ones are in your hand, and the rest of them are competitive.
Yes.
So yeah, there's a whole big collection of those. And that's the 2-player version of the game. So it's an even numbered players type of game.
2 or 4.
It plays 2 or 4.
Right, yes.
So if you're playing 2, it works like that. If you're playing 4, you end up with a 5x5 grid, and part of your scoring zone overlaps with that of the player to your left and right, because the 4 in the corner are going to belong to each of you. So that introduces another layer to the game. We haven't actually played it at 4 players, so we can't review it at 4 players. I am interested to. I feel like that interplay where you share part of your scoring zone will make for quite an interesting gameplay. But yeah, we've played it at the 2-player mode. It's quick and simple and fun enough. Yeah. What's your thoughts on the game?
It's quick and simple and fun, but I wish, and this is totally my fault, I wish it's easier for me to do rotation in my head. The special rotation is really hard for me to imagine what card goes where if I put this card, what connects to what. I think that's the one that kind of like I keep missing things because I can't really imagine things properly. I think you're doing so well at this game because of that. I think that's really my complaint, and not really a real complaint. But at least this game goes really quickly.
I think probably the one major downside of the game from a hobby strategy gamer's standpoint is that you are just drawing your cards at random. You can end up with not the cards you need. So that really does take this down into the very light game side of things. Because yeah, sometimes the cards just aren't going to go with the objectives that are out there for you. But I really do like the fact that you can slowly build up the board, and it can be not clear who owns which side until later.
That's actually a good clever part.
Yeah. And I mean, to be honest, I think most of the times we played, we very quickly got our territory sorted, and then worked on it from there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to go that way, and I suspect at 4 players, it would be less likely to go that way.
Because you usually force me to start the territory control part, not territory control, territory play control thing. Yeah, because you're like, immediately, this card looks like it's not going to be good for Stella. Let's just put it over there. I'm like, no, I don't want that one. I want to put here. Usually that's the case.
Yep.
Mean.
And it makes sense. It makes sense to do that as well. Because if there's a juicy row, you want to get that for yourself.
Correct.
As quickly as possible.
Correct. That's why. Well, it's still a fun little game. Abstract Academy. And last but not least, I just want to show you what I've backed on Kickstarter recently, which is it's called River and Stone. It's basically playing cards.
Yes.
1,000 game in one.
Standard deck of playing cards.
But this one was done, the art was done, and the Kickstarter was done by Beth Sobel. If you don't know Beth Sobel, she's a very famous artist, especially in board game industry. had beautiful artworks, done beautiful artwork in a lot of games, like
Well known for Wingspan, of course.
that's correct. And this one and many others, like I can't tell, like Cascadia, is it? I think that's Beth
Yes,
Sobel,
yep.
and many others. So, what is your favorite Beth Sobel game? That one, the space one, the card game that you like, is also by Beth Sobel.
I like a lot of space card games. Which one was that?
The really clever drafting one.
Space Race?
Subterra, no.
Sarah?
Subterranean. Oh gosh, we'll come back to that.
Yes.
I'll pop it up. Like I'll Google it and then I'll pop it up in there. It's a really smart one. We play at the meetup as well with, was that 7 players? It's really smart.
Oh, Sub-Astral, yes.
Thank you, Sub Astral. I just like sub something. Anyways, this is the playing card and you can see here. It's really gorgeous. The cards are really super duper gorgeous. I want to pick this one first. And it kind of like have a story as well. So it's all Beth Sobel's like from the moon. It's like the moon scene from here. And it's covered, but it's like the same sort of like scenery. That's the moon again. The moon ends a little bit, and then it introduced the, what's that, the crow, the bird, and then the bird flying, and the bird again, and the bird bigger. It feels like the bird's also growing, and there you go. And then that's the human from younger, adults and older. It's the same human.
Yes, which is done across the court cards for each of the
Correct.
4 suits.
Like this one, J, Q, and K. Just the same person, but this younger teenager and older. And look at this cute little rat. So it got introduced from number 6 as well. Was that 7 before? I was just like, ooh. Yeah, 6. How about that one?
Yes, so this one goes through the water. This is the water one. Waves here, and then the jellyfish come in at 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Same with this one, just jungle, waterfall. And then, is that the fox? The fox introduced at 6 also.
Looks like it.
And then 7, 8, 9, 10. And then, there you go. The human from younger to older, the same, you should the same one. Very gorgeous art. What's your favorite card game, Tarrant?
Look, playing card games, I've played 500 is the one I've played the most. It's
What is
probably the
that?
one I enjoy the most. It's a popular contract euchre. I'm not sure how broadly popular it is. Certainly it's a very popular one in
In
Australia.
your head? No.
It certainly is a very popular one in Australia.
Yep.
It's one that gets played very frequently across the universities. These would be a little bit annoying for euchre, I suppose.
Right. I don't know how Yuka plays,
So
I have no idea.
if there's one thing to complain about these, it's that the black suits and the red suits are thematically fairly together. You can still see the black suits are darker and the red suits are lighter, but
Yeah.
you know, in euchre you've got to instinctively recognise that the jack of the non-trump colour, the non-trump suit of the same colour, is treated as a trump. So you've got to be able to instinctively see that. And
So
when they're
this
red and
Right.
black, it's very easy to tell. And I think Klondike Solitaire as well, you've got to alternate the cards, red, black. So
Well, this is the harder version, the hard mode of 500 Yunka, whatever it is that you say.
it does. You've got to recognise dark light,
And the shape.
or the shape.
I think the color would come first before the shape, right?
Yes.
Usually.
Yeah, when you're
speed.
doing an alternating
Yeah.
one, or you're trying to pick the left bower, yeah, the colour helps.
So, and also you probably kind of like want to at least sleeve this card before playing something like that. Sounds like it's a quite damaging game.
It's not damaging.
It's not? It's like,
The amount of time we play it and the fact that we always play it in the pub is maybe slightly damaging.
okay, fine. So yeah, that's it. Just want to show you what's in it and just how gorgeous.
Yeah, it is very nice art, and it's in that realistic, natural style that all of Sobel's illustrations are.
I could like easily like pick one, say something like that, and then maybe hang it, like have a bigger version and hang it on my wall. Simple.
2 of clubs.
I don't know. Like this is like so gorgeous. This mountain and then also this one. Like I want to go there and then swim in it, type of thing. You know.
Squid Game.
Ah, it's true. And that's it. That's all our review, everybody. Which one is your favorite? Which ones do you like? It is Squid Game.
It is Squid Game.
What? How about the other one? This is not.
That one's Spiral. Maybe in the next season.
See? It's not. Not Squid Game.
Contestants. This one, they're wearing green. So these are the contestants. Sort of teal, and mix these colours and they're teal.
Ask Beth Sobel. Is it based on Squid Game? I'm sure the answer is no. Like, you can see this anywhere.
Was that his number?
What? Oh, is it?
I can't. It's been a while. I think got a little bit off topic.
I know.
And we've kind of besmirched the natural beauty of the cards
Tarrant.
by talking about violent Netflix.
Have you watched Squid Games? I can't wait to see the season 1.
Jellyfish games?
Jellyfish games. Yeah. Oh no, it is based on Squid Game. I'm kidding. It's not. I'll be so surprised if it is. So those are our reviews of those games, the other 2 games, and this is like a few games in once. What do you think? What's your favorite out of those? It's not really comparable as per like, oh, this is a similar game, but I like this one better. It's like totally different games, but anyway.
They're very different games.
Very different games.
They all come in small boxes.
That's all the similarities. And yeah, if you enjoyed it somehow, please hit the like button and subscribe to us. You can hit the bell also so you get notification when we have new videos. We have videos like live playthrough on the weekends, live playthrough, normal playthrough, my short and sweet with costume and stuff and animation, and your how to play, and so on. I'm also on Instagram, so find me there as well, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and bye!